Welcome out to Studio 321. This is Eddie B., your podcast host. Welcome to the show today, guys. Something I wanted to talk about. I watch a lot of news. I watch a lot of, see a lot of stuff on social media. Obviously, there's been a ton of anti-Elon Musk and just, hate going on TV and on internet. So I wanted to touch on that. I want to tell you a little story. I have a little bit of personal experience with this story. So, look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of politics you're on. I think we all know that we need to save money. We need our government to tighten up on its spending and quit wasting all the money that we have. With the fires out in California, it's a perfect example. We need money for emergencies. We do. You had the hurricane come through in the south, and it ended up wrecking North Carolina, some of the Tennessee area. We need money for stuff like that. But the way that we need to get money for stuff like that is to slow down our government spending and start filling up, the coffers that we have in this country with emergency funds and things like that, things that we can use for our own people. So anyways, going back to the Elon Musk situation. So a lot of you might not know how the SpaceX situation came about and kind of took the lead in the space travel and basically the space industry altogether. So in 2004, George W. Bush basically signed to put into the process the end of the space shuttle program, which is based in Cape Canaveral, which is in the area that I live, so I know this particular area. And I know a lot of people that work out, know a lot of people that have worked out there and have worked on the program and have friends that, that still work out there. So he put the end of the program into effect in 2004. Well, the program didn't close until 2012. And now that was under Obama. So growing up in the area, I've been around, the space station, or the space program and the shuttles and that, most of my life. It's funny when you live in the area, you hear a lot of jokes and stuff. And, I work in the bar business as well. So you a lot of people you meet talk about stuff out there. And, I've never worked out there, but they're always talking about the waste and how it's just so ridiculous how much money they spend on nothing. And, you hear that kind of rumors and stuff for years. Well, I had never really experienced it until, I had a side business and I needed to go out there and work as a vendor for about a week. They needed my services. And so I had to, go through the whole security process out there. And so I ended up working out there. So, I was out there working, and first of all, the speed of government jobs like that is unbelievably slow. Like, people are definitely not in a hurry to do anything. They're kind of walking around all day. Most people look like they were doing nothing. So that was a little bit shocking to me because, I'm a vendor. I'm a regular worker. I go out there. I go to get my work done. Me and my helpers were out there early in the morning. We're busting butt. And it's just like everybody else is moving in slow motion. So that's the first thing. Second thing is there was a particular manager I saw come in one morning and, got all his, came in the office, clocked in, did his stuff while I was working in that area. And just went out and took his kayak off the roof of his car and went kayaking in the river for 2 hours. And then when he came back, it was about 11:30. He went in his office, changed, and went to lunch. And then I thought to myself, I was like, this is what you hear about. This is the government spending that we heard about, and I had never worked out there before, but it's true. You realize, like, it's a total waste of money. Now, that's government spending, and that's what happens to the government, when there's no oversight of how they're spending or what pace they're working at or anything like that. So, it wasn't my place to say anything. I was just a vendor working out there. So, I did my job, got my money, and I was done. So moving forward. So the space shuttle program had, it closed down in 2012 under Obama. I think there was between 8 and 12,000 jobs were lost out there. And, there was a lot of people mad in the area. It trimmed NASA down to like almost nothing. It was almost didn't exist. Almost everybody was laid off. Well, that gave, and I don't think it was intentional, but that gave a window for SpaceX to come in. So, and because when they laid all those people off in the Space Coast area, it really hurt the area. Like houses, people were just leaving their houses, letting them go back to the bank. It hurt the whole economy. Every business around here suffered. The bar businesses, the restaurants, everybody was suffering. No, because everybody either left town or just wasn't spending any money. So that was a tough time for everybody in the area. However, SpaceX came into the scene, and we heard about them coming out there, and we didn't really think much about it. But it started, you would hear little rumbles like, oh, SpaceX is out at the Space Center, and then they started putting in buildings and doing this and doing that, and then I think they finally got a launch several years into this process, and then all of a sudden it seemed like they were launching, once a week, and that was pretty shocking to the people in the area because we were used to the space shuttles going off once a year, once every year and a half, and half the time the launches would get scrubbed. And here's the thing, I'm not talking bad about the NASA program. They've done good, but when you put the two side by side, which is SpaceX, which is a private company, and you put it up against NASA, who is a government company, there's just no comparison between the two. Now up to date now, you're sometimes getting 3 launches a week from SpaceX. They're doing amazing things out there. They're launching satellite after satellite for national defense and for internet companies and all this other stuff. NASA never could have done that. They couldn't. They weren't efficient, and they didn't move at the same pace. So, that's the difference you get when you talk about private industry compared to government industry. Now, what's the drawbacks to private industry? Well, private industry, they're harder on the workers, which, look, SpaceX, I know they work those people hard out there. I know some people that work out there. They say it's a different pace than it used to be. They can't sit around all day and do nothing. They really have to work. So, but that's good, because what that tells me and what that should tell you is that our tax money is being well spent. Okay, not for some guy to go kayaking in the river. And that's what we need. That's what we need nowadays across our entire government. Because I tell you what, there's always been a joke about government jobs. Nobody's working hard. And it's just that way. So we really need to do something, which I think they've done, which is the Doge thing, where again, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are getting together to team up and to try to combat this stuff. Now, if whether you like him or you don't like him, you should be happy about the fact that he's going to start streamlining how they spend our money. Okay? Now, if he does anything with our government like he did with his company compared to NASA, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like night and day. And it's really what we need right now. We need that, we need some accountability. And the truth is, what we've learned over the last, I'm going to say 20, 25 years, our government can't seem to regulate itself. The people that work within our government, they don't seem to be able to regulate themselves, because if they could, we wouldn't be 36 trillion in debt. Okay. Now, You can blame whoever you want for that, but the truth is every single president and every administration has contributed to that problem. I think Bill Clinton balanced the budget, if I remember correctly, and then ever since Bill Clinton, the budget has built every administration, whether it's Republican or Democrat. So you can't really point fingers at one side or the other. It's all of them. Okay? And so in a situation like that, some outside eyes, I believe, are what we do really need. And they can come in. I know they don't have an official capacity, but if weight is given to what they say, and they make suggestions for cuts, and those are cut, then we are going to be able to streamline the economy and our government spending. Okay. Look, I saw it firsthand with my own eyes, being around, and this is the thing, before SpaceX came along, I had no idea what an efficient space program looked like. I thought, the reason they launched once every year and a half was because, it was so complicated that they had to do it that way. Okay. I think everybody thought that because there was nothing to compare it to. But then now SpaceX is out there and they honestly make NASA look like a joke. They do. They've done more in, I think, 10 years than NASA did in 50. And pretty soon we're going to be going to Mars. And that's amazing too, because we haven't even been back to the moon since the first time we were there. So it really shows you the difference between private industry and government industry. And there's just no comparison in the two. Private industry is way better. They just have to, private industry has to be regulated because when you do things for profit, obviously sometimes, for-profit companies can get a little bit out of control. But look, I mean, that's what we need to happen with our money being spent in the government. But yeah, I just wanted to tell that story because, I know there's just a lot of hating going on right now. And look, whether you like Elon Musk or not, that really doesn't matter. He's sent there to do a job. And if he does the job like he did with SpaceX, it's going to be amazing. Okay. So moving on to the next thing. So this is a little bit of a funny thing. I'm down here in the 321. Obviously, this is Florida. We're enjoying the weather right now. Kind of cool, not like it is up north, but we do like some cold weather because, pretty soon it's going to be like a microwave outside. So the weather's nice. So anyways, I read a story the other day and I actually I glanced at the headlines on it and I had to read the whole thing because I was like, there's no way this is possible. So in Duval County, which is Jacksonville, a 37-year-old lawyer was smuggling K2, which is if some of you might not know, it's a fake marijuana. It's like this chemical they spray on some type of plant, and it you smoke it like marijuana. It was a way to get around the marijuana laws. So he was smuggling K2 into the jail when he was a defense attorney, when he would go to see clients or whatever, and he would sell it to the inmates. And he got, of course he got caught. They also call K2 spice or whatever. But so he was bringing in on the paperwork. He would take the liquid and he would soak the paperwork, the legal documents in it, and then he would bring it in to his clients, and then they would distribute it amongst the inmates. Now, so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this. I'm thinking to myself, come on, man, like, who would do this? This guy's he's a lawyer. He's probably been, I think that's 8 to 10 years of school. So you're 37 years old. So you're smuggling this stuff into the jail. How much money are you making off of that? A couple $100? Maybe 1,000. But anyways, the guy gets arrested, and he's gonna get disbarred from Florida. It's just insane, Stuff like that makes you stand back and you look at it and you go, man, people are actually crazy. They're just crazy. Like, who would ruin their own career, a career like that, doing something stupid like that. It's pretty insane. Um, Now, so yeah, I wanted to bring that up because come on, man. But that's Florida. Sometimes down here we I don't know, we've got some rough riders down here, man. It's kind of crazy. Um, so just to touch on the California thing for a little bit, I know everybody's been talking about that, and I don't really want to get too deep into it because you're probably already saturated. But look, I don't see this the same way as other people do. I know the political side's got their fangs out now, and everybody wants to blame Gavin Newsom. I don't really think it's Gavin Newsom's fault. Um, Karen Bass is the mayor of L.A. I think it's 100% her fault. I think she should be fired, which I don't think they can fire her, but I think they should not vote for her next time. Uh, look, Gavin Newsom looks over a state with 40 million people in it, and it's a little bit of a different job. It's less specific than, hey, is there water in the hydrants in L.A. County? Karen Bass, that's absolutely her job. She has no other job other than to be the head of L.A. County, right? So she should be terminated immediately. The Gavin Newsom stuff, I think that's just political sides battling it out with each other. He's trying to blame Trump and all this stuff, which that doesn't make any sense. But it just shows you, man. You got to be careful when you pick your politicians. You hire somebody like Karen Bass, and you think, oh, she'll be fine, but you never know what's around the corner. You run into a major tragedy like these fires, and you need somebody who's tough and strong and can face, a lot of ridicule and face a lot of pressure, really. And, if you don't hire the right person, it can even get worse. Now, I'm not blaming the fire on her, but a lot of the fire prevention could have been handled differently by her. So in my mind, she's got to go 100% out the door, get somebody else. And, you're not going to get a Republican in there. You're not going to get a conservative in there, and that's fine. But you can't let things like this go without consequences, because if you do, then next time, I mean, if your city gets burnt down and they're partially to blame, and you don't fire them, then what would you fire them for? You see, that's basically a signal saying do whatever you want and we'll just keep you anyways. And then you're just asking for trouble because it gets sloppier and sloppier. Yeah, it's a terrible situation out there. And look, down here in Florida, we have our own situations. We get pummeled by hurricanes pretty regularly. It's every couple years something comes either into Florida or brushes on Florida, and sometimes there's major damage, sometimes there isn't. It's just like the wildfires are out in California. But here's the thing: if our state leaders fumbled the recovery or the the management, we'll call it, of a hurricane down here in Florida, that'd be the end of them. They'd be done. Like we'd be screaming from the treetops, and they'd be out of there. Next election, it's over. And you just have to do that. Not because they're a Democrat or a Republican. You have to do that because they're incompetent. If somebody doesn't do the job you hire them to do, they need to go, and you need to get someone else. But all right, guys. Well, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. This is Eddie from Studio 321, and I hope you guys are doing good out there. I'm wishing everybody well out in California. Hope you guys recover, man. Let's get it done with and get back to work, get back to normal life. Let's keep on rocking, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks.